Pasta Vazul, baby.
Come on in.
I bet we've been together for 1,000,000 years.
And I bet we'll be together for 1,000,000 more.
Oh, it's like I started breathing on the night we kissed.
And I can't remember what I ever did before.
Oh, what would we do, baby, without us? Oh, what would we do, baby, without us? And there ain't no nothing we can't love each other through. What would we do, baby, without us? Sha-la-la-la.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Well, hello, Screamers. Welcome to the Scream Until You Like It podcast. I hope you're still screaming. I hope you're starting to like it. I am Clint. Betas are better. Joined with me today, all the way from the Hormonal Werewolves, which is a podcast, Abbe Road Rage Cronenberg is here. And of course, we are here together for a very special occasion because we don't normally do this. We are also joined with one Mr. Bob Carpenter Hooper Heckman.
Carpenter Hooper. Heckman.
Yeah. I mean Bob Heckman. Bob Heckman.
Reference there. Like
Exactly. Well, I wanted to run into that real quick with a very specific, boring story. But like I just told Abby that yesterday or the day before, one of those days, that
put me to sleep.
yeah. Night of the Creeps is like in your top 5 movies of all time.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And I attempted to watch it like 2 years ago after we talked and you talked about that movie so much, and I couldn't find it anywhere streaming that I didn't have to pay for it. So I was like, all right, well then I'll just buy it. Yeah. So I got on Amazon and I bought this Blu-ray copy specifically because I spoke to you about it.
It's the cheaper version of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Not the Scream Factory
I
newer
love that
release.
movie.
It's
and because we were talking about this, it made me watch it again for the first time in a couple years. And I love the Jill Whitlow, obviously. So we have Cynthia Cronenberg or Dr. Cynthia Romero, depending on which name and which movie we want to discuss. But
yes. And looking at it again just today, I found myself, laughing at it, having hell of a good time. I mean, it was good the first time I watched it. It was even better this time. And I was like, this almost feels like a perfect movie. I mean,
Night of the Creeps?
Yeah, it is so great from start to finish. The way they tie things together, the way they have like multiple layers to their plot point, and tell this story and come full circle, at the end to the aliens is just amazing to me. Even with the great miniatures of like the graveyard scene and the spaceship going over top.
And that's only the director's cut. When it was originally in theaters, it didn't have that ending.
Oh no.
And it also on video, it didn't have that ending. But on TV, on the TV version, it would have that ending. And the first time I seen it, it had that ending with the spaceship going over the cemetery and everything with the aliens. Which it's a perfect bookend.
This Little Shop of Horrors all over again. Like that shit blows my mind when you don't know there's more than one version.
Right.
Or we did Alien 3 the other day, and like
Mm.
I didn't know there were 2 versions of this. So
Oh,
the
yeah,
one I
much
had
longer
seen
version.
before in the theater is not what which we've now taken to calling the other one the they don't call it a director's cut, they call it a something else, but we call it the cow cut because you know there's a couple. It's the cow cut because instead of
Okay.
coming out of the
Cows,
dog, it comes out of the
right.
cow, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I just never knew there was more. So that shit blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy because and when I got it on VHS, like this
Assembly
is back
cut.
when I was like 12
Thank
years
you.
old or something. Assembly cut, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got it when I was like 12 years old on VHS and I watched that version and it didn't have the spaceship ending, I was like, what the hell? Instead, the theatrical ending is the dog that's kind of running around and creeping everybody.
Uh-huh.
Shows up at the end next to Jill Whitlow, and Jill leans down to pet the dog, and a creep comes out at the screen, and it just ends.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, yeah, I know. It's like, you're trying to kill. Jill will always say,
Hey,
I turned
that's
my
right.
head. They just didn't film that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's like,
They
you know,
didn't get her.
creeped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely I like this version better.
It's definitely 100,000 times better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know why the producers or whatever let it go out without that ending, because it bookends so perfectly from the first shot of the movie.
It does.
So,
It does. And Tom Atkins is amazing.
yeah.
I mean,
I love that.
that's
man
probably
so
my
much.
favorite performance of his.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt, mine
Mhm.
too. Yeah.
Oh, well, the thing is, Walter, I don't have a requisition form, is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you say thrill me. You don't even have to like. You hear it in his voice. You just.
Well, having said that,
I
I was interested in very specifically asking, like when you saw this movie the first time and how you think it impacted you as a film lover, and then perhaps later as a filmmaker.
Woo. That's a heavy question there.
Take it one piece at a time.
I mean, I seen it when I was, I guess, 11 years old. I believe on TV, like regular, like channel 11, just not a cable.
Yeah.
Just,
It's Sunday afternoon or something.
yeah, something like that. I
In
think it
Philly,
was,
you used to get it on Channel 6. Like that was the Philly thing.
yeah, I think it PIX here. I think it was a channel 11 or something. I don't know. I might have seen it first at my friend Tom's house on HBO. I can't. It's fuzzy.
It probably
I don't remember.
was.
But
There
I
was
remember,
like 6 movies that constantly played on HBO.
like the Beastmaster, right?
Like the Beastmaster. That was TBS, man. every
The
weekend.
Beastmaster channel. But I mean, it impacted me right away. I love this movie. I love how they were flawlessly mix sci-fi, horror, and comedy all in one film, and like old style monster movies, like when the beginning of the black and white, and like I mean, I loved it immediately. And it's always stayed with me. And it was the kind of movie that, like, oh, friends are going to come hang out and watch a movie or whatever. I'm like, have you seen Night of the Creeps? We got to watch Night of the Creeps. It was that and Dawn of the Dead. It's like constant
Your heavy rotation.
like, forcing on my friends to watch.
Fair.
But I guess, well, as a filmmaker later on, it kind of inspired me to make sure that a movie is constantly entertaining, whether through action or fun dialogue, whatever. Just make sure it's paced well. Like, because I think it's a perfectly paced movie.
Yeah.
Night of the Creeps. And the balance is amazing. Even when there's like a serious scene, like, where Jason Lively is listening to the tape recorder of his friend talking about. Like it's like it's just beautifully done. And it's just thrown in there with like it just fits. It makes you care about the characters. It taught me so much. That's the basic. I mean, it really just. So I started making short films in the early 2000s with a friend of mine, Rob. We started this small company, Ramsteer Films, and we had only gotten a chance to make 5 short films, and we were about to start a feature-length movie, and that kind of fell apart, and life got in the way, and we stopped. But we made sure that our short films were like, paced in a fun manner. Because sometimes you get a lot of like really slow, like low budget films, and because there's no budget, it's a lot of dialogue and people that aren't the best actors sitting around talking, and you're just like, "Whew, I want to push fast forward, but I'm afraid I'll miss something."
Right.
There's
Right.
nothing worse than a horror movie that doesn't keep you entertained, or any movie really.
Right.
If I start playing on my iPad, or the cat did something, I'm gone.
Double screening, you're calling it. I like to call it double screening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really feel this way about recent Full Moon Charles Mann films.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, there's a lot of great ideas in his films, but like the couple of like the last Puppet Master movies, and like he just put out a film called Quadrant, which I was really excited for. I don't know why, I just keep getting excited about the next Full Moon project, and
like you never learn.
and then like half of it is just like sitting there, couple of characters in a room that you don't leave for a really long time, just talking about the same thing over and over again. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I get it. And like half this dialogue could be cut out or just shortened into like 1 or 2 sentences, and the audience will get it. The audience will understand. And then sometimes he just thinks making up for that is throw some boobies in there, and like that'll 7 out of 10 times it works keep
for
you
his
entertained.
audience,
Yeah, and I'm just like,
it
all right,
helps.
I guess so. I'm not, all right, who am I? But like, we all have different points. It's all subjective. It's all,
Yes.
But for me, my idea of what entertains me, that's what I would try to
emulate.
That's fair. Well, I mean, you did mention Ramsteer Films, and the fact that everything fell apart when you were getting ready to film your first feature. Just a curiosity, since we're on that subject, is that something that you would ever entertain revisiting, or is that idea completely dead?
Of Ramsteer Films?
Well, the feature length you were going to make.
No, but it's funny. The feature length story that we were going to do back in 2007, when everything fell apart, I kind of took an idea or a piece of that movie and put it into my new project.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of like switched a couple of things around, but it's basically kind of the third act of what that original feature length film was, and I just kind of transported it into my Friday 13th sequel project. But it was like a project that was around for years, and I figured, you know what, it's the best way to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
And then for years I wanted to do an anthology film and do like 4 or 5 short stories, and this is scratching that itch also. So
very nice.
So, making an anthology. Eventually there'll be a Ramsteer Films Blu-ray collection with the 5 shorts and a little documentary with me and my partner at the time, Rob, who I'm still great friends with, and we'll talk all about that whole time from 2000 to 2007, I guess.
That's fantastic. That would be great.
A vague recollection of those years. But talking about your movies, I want to gush a little bit. I've said this to you, I've said this to Clint before. Victim No More has become one of my comfort movies to put on. You know, it's the perfect length. I've seen it a number of times. It's almost embarrassing, but I genuinely enjoy it because my brain is, you know, as we said, mushy and squishy, and I like things that are comfort for me. So I have like 5 movies that constantly are going in my house, and this has become one of them, up there with like Exorcist 3 and
Dolls,
Leslie Vernon, like all of these movies that just make me happy. And they're just, I don't have to watch them, just hearing them or seeing them on the TV is fun. Right. But to talk a little bit about Victim No More, first of all, the music is fantastic.
It's great.
I love it.
Do you have a playlist? Because I would play that in the car.
Yeah.
Like I was watching it again today, and I was just
it put you in a great mood.
This is awesome. It's like nod my head and everything.
Yeah, I actually thought about having like, maybe a perk could be
a soundtrack
to the movie, and have Mike McGrainer, who did the opening theme, the opening song. That starts the movie, and Desiree's band, the Champagne Charade. Desiree was the girl in the movie that was taking pictures in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she's the girl with the swords.
Yes.
I love the filming in New York City. You know, all these places. Was that the Dakota that you were showing? I'm trying to remember at the beginning when the music's going, and I wasn't sure because it went by kind of fast. But
yeah, that was a great day of filming. Although Sean King, my cinematographer, would say it was probably one of the worst days of filming, because we started in Central Park, and it was Catherine Mary Stewart directed all those
where
scenes.
to go. Yeah.
Right.
So she found a bunch of locations, and one of my favorite shots is the opening shot, the one that starts in the trees, goes down
Central
to the
Park
water,
there,
and it has that like real brownish greenish kind of pond water that looks like it could be pulled right out of like Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah.
And then like pans up and you see the fountain in Central Park. Like she found that location. I'm like, oh my God, this opening shot is going to be perfect.
I've literally walked every one of those places that I see at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, and there's even more that like we didn't use. But yeah, we started in Central Park. We walked over to where the Dakota building is, got that. And then we started back down to Midtown
and Times Square.
And I think we took cabs here and there, or subway. And made it all the way down to
the village.
The village area. And that's where we got the Statue of Liberty and shots of like the Freedom Tower and stuff like that. And we got thrown off 30 Rock, the roof shot where we can get the Empire State Building and Chrysler Building and everything.
That's amazing.
We got those. I mean, we're walking up there with a tripod and camera and everything, and nobody questioned us. But when we get up there, we start setting up and just filming Central Park.
And they're like, hey, wait a minute.
They're like, hey, you're not allowed to film up here. And we're like, okay. We got
Let us just finish this one shot.
What do you think we were gonna do? Like film each other up here? Like,
and the camera should have been a big tip off.
Film our feet, you know?
Yeah, for Foot Finder.
People make good money. I'm just saying.
Foot fetish.
The word on the streets.
Only feet.
I never kink shame another human. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but I loved it. But like, Sean at the end of the day had blisters on his feet from it was just hours of walking.
Yeah, and the city is not an easy walk. It's
and I'm the director, so I
so like people carry you down the street, right? Because that's how it works with directors. Yeah, they just carry. So then you're fine.
Yeah. I'm on a high because it's like an easy day of filming, and it's in Catherine's hands.
Right.
So it's like, all right, she's directing. I'm basically helping her,
Yeah.
and just kind of putting in my 2 cents of like, oh, this could be a good shot, And Sean is suffering filming because he's
The one
got
running
bad
back
feet,
and
I
forth.
guess.
And, yeah.
All
So
of it
for me, it was
was,
like, oh my God, it's like near the end of the shooting schedule. And it's like, oh, this is a chill day.
Yeah.
I like to
yeah.
start off like when filming,
Heavy.
like a couple of like, easier days leading to the hardest days, and then come back now with a couple of like, the pickup shots,
The skate
exterior shots,
couple of gimmies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You
They're
have
all
very
very
likable
picturesque.
character. Oh, sorry, honey.
Yeah, that's all right. All the shots, like in the opening, are very picturesque. I found myself entertained by that alone, like including the Statue of Liberty shot. You left in
Beautiful.
like a boat going right by.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God,
was
yeah, that
happening.
was perfect.
It looked beautiful.
Yeah, I was just like, ooh, keep the camera rolling. There's a boat coming by.
He's like, I totally paid that boat to go. That's where
Yeah,
we're going. It's fine.
we paid, for all those ads in Times Square and everything,
Yeah.
That giant M&M in Times Square, I still owe a few dollars to, So,
Oh, my $2, man.
I'm sure.
my $2.
That's
But
right.
you got very likable characters in this, and I find that
Thank you.
sometimes when you have maybe indie or lower budget or fan films, not always the case. And I think that the people you have acting in this actually can act, which is a nice plus. I love Sean Jordan, Sean VHS PS. I love that dude.
Yeah.
He's
VHS
hysterical.
Yeah, he was perfect, I thought, because he was he had just the right amount of oddballness
Right.
to still seem like a real character.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was like a Crispin Glover type from Part 4 and a
Just
Shelley
waiting
type
for the
from Part
dance.
3. Yeah, and a Shelley type from Part 3, just kind of like mixed together, like awkward, goofy, and kind of odd.
Oddball, yeah.
Yeah, to just be that. Originally, that was supposed to be played by Chris Seaver.
That's what he was saying, and I think you told me
Yeah.
that before, and I just had forgotten it.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
which he claims he would have been the better Matt Warner character.
I think I asked Sean for his autograph the first time I saw him after seing the movie, and he was like,
Oh
"Wait,
my
you
God,
actually knew
yeah.
that was me?" And I was like,
Of course, who looked
Yeah.
who how do you
Yeah.
not
"Who looks like
recognize him?
that?"
Still got the
well,
long hair and everything, and
I know he's difficult to recognize when he's not doing his Marty McFly impression, but I mean, I
Wait,
still knew it was him.
are you telling me? Yeah. Oh, Sean.
Yeah. So yeah, I binge watched a bunch of Chris Seaver movies before I talked to Chris, and it's almost impossible to talk to you without talking about Chris Seaver movies.
That's fine. He's one of my my bestest friends. So
Yeah.
we could talk
Yeah.
about that.
He was telling me that you guys have been friends since the late 90s.
We've been friends since I guess the year 2000. So it's easy to
Okay.
remember. Like, oh,
At
we've been
99,
friends
man,
for
I
24
hated
years.
that dude. But 2000, that's when we solidified this shit.
I think
Yeah,
99. I think 99 we met.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we met and we started to become friends, but by 2000 we were like definitely friends. Yeah, and he kind of inspired me too to like, get off my butt and just start making movies if I love movies that much and want to make movies. So he was a kind of an inspiration to me to like, do what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it was
Holds a lot of
right.
movie making.
Yeah, it was right in that time. Like I was like, all right, let me do this with Rob, and start making movies with my friends. Backyard, low budget movies on
I
camcorders.
think everybody should do that at some
That's
point.
awesome.
I think it's
Everybody.
amazing.
Yeah.
If
I
they
do
love
like,
movies and they want to make movies, just do it. Yeah.
Was
I like
it,
the homage to Steve Dash in Victim No More. I like that we had a chance to go with the hockey mask from, Maddie,
right.
but we decided on Sackhead, and I love that because I think that's one of the greatest looks.
Yeah, I that was one of the first ideas I I came up with. Like there's hundreds of fan films that have like hockey mask Jason running around, and I was just like, and it's depending on what it is, it's like either a part 3, part 4 Jason or a part 7 Jason. And I'm like, well, let's mash it up and have a part 7 type
From the
body,
bottom.
and then throw a sack on it.
I loved it.
So it'd be something different, but yeah, and the idea of that scene where he's like picks up the hockey mask, it's like every single fan that hasn't watched the movie is watching it going, all right, well, that's how he gets the hockey mask through Sean's character. So it's like it's obvious he's going to put it on, but then like as he's kind of like touching it or whatever, it's almost like you're trying to get into Jason's head a little bit, going,
yeah,
it's like is he having memories of wearing this thing? Does it not feel right to him?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a cheaper plastic that he doesn't want to put on or something.
He
like
wasn't feeling pretty.
Clearly, it was the quality. He didn't like that it was made in Malaysia or something.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Or like, it was right before that. It was mocking him, you know. But like, I was thinking like maybe it was kind of nostalgia, like where like Jason's so old now. Maybe he's thinking about all those years that he ran around with a sack on his head, you know, and he looked down at the sack and was just like,
memories.
I could probably, you know, maybe I should put this on.
Yeah. Clearly a decision was made.
The decision was made. Yeah.
And I was
something in his brain, you know, turning.
I was quite happy to learn that he did have decision-making skills. So he looked at both options, he weighed them, and he made a serious choice.
And
So
he
that
said,
was, that was cool.
I don't. I don't feel like having an elastic band around my ears. I'm just saying. Today, I'm feeling the sack. Really solid practical effects too in the movie, which I like a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a CGI fan. You know, I know sometimes, especially nowadays, it's utilized, and I don't mind it when it's utilized to enhance practical effects.
Yeah.
But I am the person that would rather see the zipper on the bad monster suit than see bad CGI.
Yeah.
So I got to give props for that. I thought they were solid.
Yeah, when it comes to the CGI and people like that are around our ages and being so against CGI, I just kind of, for me, it's more of like, is the movie engrossing enough to pull me in that I don't care about the special effects that are happening? I'm somebody who just never comments on the bad CGI or something, like, because like honestly we grew up where there was like obvious matte paintings in the back and like weird what do you call it, blue screen effects and stuff. And it's like we can see that was, and
honestly Clash of the Titans is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Motion stuff like that. Yeah, it's like I'm like so I know it, like it all has its charm and everything
and its place in other movies.
Right. But so for me, I have an anagram that I created a couple of years ago that I call swamps.
Okay.
It's the swamps of filmmaking. Like it's the things that I find most important to me. So it goes, if you're spelling out the word swamps, story, most important. Writing, acting, to pull off those other two things.
Yeah.
Music, very helpful.
Yes.
The overall production, P for production, and special effects is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, if everything above that
works, then
and I am engrossed, it could have the worst special effects I've ever seen. Like, if I love the concept, if I love the story of what's going on, you know, Like the
And you
writing,
had,
the writing could be bad, but story is still top. You
as
know,
long as the story's good. You had what? Ricky Vitus did the FX. Am I
Ricky
correct with that?
Vitus Effects.
Such a great guy. I
He
love
was,
that dude.
yeah, he's such a great. Have you met him?
I have met him,
Oh.
and I was a fan from when he was on Face Off before that. But then I've met him
Right.
since. Nice guy. Been friends with him on at least on Facebook for 100 years, but only
Right.
met him once.
He's a great guy. It was so worth it. Everything he did was perfect.
Spot on. Yeah, really
Spot
good.
on.
That's awesome.
So I have a question though. I apologize for interrupting, but you have brought up, or Clint brought up, Chris Seaver before, and one thing I learned is that there's a picture of John Stamos in every one of Chris Seaver's movies. Do you have anything like that in your films where you're like, I'm going to make sure this happens everywhere, whether it's a line or
Yes,
piece of
I
clothing?
will. I will be doing that. There'll be a couple of callbacks to the first movie and Victim No More 2 with a couple of things. Whether they're names, actual characters that appear that maybe you thought was dead or something, like you might see them again or something. I'm no spoilers, but
no, don't do that.
Obviously the characters, you know, because it's going to be focused on the Survivor Squad that show up at the end of the first movie.
Sure.
It's going to go into their origins and their past of like.
I love the kick-ass women, like the group of just kick-ass women, and I love seeing,
not everybody loved that online. Let me tell
I
you.
did. Well,
Oh.
you know,
I like to call them the man bro dudes.
Or the picky fanboy motherfuckers.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love seeing faces I recognize or people I know. I saw Marianne DeVivo was in there, and
Oh,
she
Mary,
played
Mary
Z,
Ellen,
I
yes.
think.
Mary
Mary Ellen,
Ellen.
yeah, sorry. She played, was it Z? Was that the character's name? I should have that
Z,
written down, but I
yes.
didn't.
The reason why it's just Z, because I had sent her pictures of Zorana from G.I. Joe. She's one of the Dreadnoks, the punky Dreadnoughts, you know, Zartan's sister. And I was sending her pictures. I'm like, try to make the character kind of look like this, you know, like Zorana. So I just named her Z.
I love it.
Nice.
So there's always going to be like some kind of G.I. Joe reference or something.
See, shit like that makes me really happy. It's like I love when you see Easter eggs that maybe, like, unless you're an 80s kid, you know, that you really, I don't know, tickles me.
Yeah, there's certain things that you'll really have to like look for. I don't know if you noticed when we shot in Blairstown, that scene where, you know, Robbie's by the waterfall and everything, and he's looking.
Yeah.
And he turns around and goes back to his car. Well, as he's pulling away, you see a guy walking by playing with a yo-yo. It's like extremely brief. It's like 3 seconds.
Okay.
This is the guy walking by who is like our set photographer. He's the one that filmed the documentary that's on the Blu-ray and everything. My friend Paul Zamorelli. But he says that he likes playing with yo-yos. So I bought a yo-yo. I'm like, oh, it'd be great if you're just walking by.
Just kind of walk by.
Because you never see somebody walking by just playing with a yo-yo. So
You
I'm like,
should
so
see
that,
that more.
something
Yeah,
like
that'd
that.
be
I'm like, I got to have a guy walk by playing with a yo-yo in the background just for like.
better than a slinky, I think. But
that could be cool. That is cool.
I do love Amy Steele being the narrator. I think that's just a ton of fun. She's got a great voice. We spoke of Catherine Mary Stewart, who is wonderful in everything she does. I realized I did meet you in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, when
we did.
Yeah.
Oh, when I was with Catherine.
When you were working with Catherine, because I know that I met Catherine, but I remember us having a brief conversation. So it's official.
What was our brief conversation?
It was about some dumb movie. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I get in this whole, actually, I don't know if I was telling you, I know I told them with Night of the Comet. I saw that when I was very young, and I had this fear of Rick Ocasek for like the longest time, because the guy in the mall I thought was Rick Ocasek in my head from the Cars, and I just was terrified of him. And I think we might have been talking about that ridiculous.
I think I do remember this. Oh my god!
I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
I think that was the ridiculous
I
story. It's
totally remember this.
just some,
You were
you know,
with
like
a
in
friend,
my
right?
brain. As what year did that come out? That come out in 80. I'm trying to remember.
84.
84. Okay, so I was 11. But yeah, in my head, I saw Rick Ocasek, and then after that, I was like terrified of that man, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was lovely, but yeah, so that was a fun time.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Amy and Catherine, because originally at the end of the movie, it was supposed to be Amy Steele that showed up to like blow off Jason's arm.
Okay.
And she was down for it at first. But then this was 2020 when the pandemic started and everything. So she was kind of like not going anywhere for a year.
Yeah.
She lives on the West Coast. And by the time it came to 2021, when we were getting ready to film, or we were preparing pre-production, she was just like, I don't have it in me anymore. I don't want to be in front of the camera and stuff.
Sure.
And I was just like, that's totally understandable. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's cool. I'm like, could you at least do the voiceover at the end? Because I think it would be just a great wrap up if my favorite final girl is doing.
And she has a great voice.
So when that didn't work out, I was like, well, what could be the next best thing? So I didn't want Robbie's mom, who was Trish Jarvis, to show up because Kimberly is not going to get in front of the camera either. She likes doing voiceover. So I was like, all right, maybe Catherine could play Megan from Part 6, the character from Part 6, playing Megan Jarvis, or Megan Garris turned into, married Tommy, became a Jarvis.
Uh-huh.
Damn it, Tommy.
Because it's like, and the way I looked at it is like, well, if there's one final girl that I know I can't get, it's Jennifer Cook from Part 6, who just kind of vanished after Jason Lives. And the fans would be like fine with it because, well, I'm upgrading to Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yeah.
Hello, Jason.
I mean, there's
it's
no way
direct.
that's a bad thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but it's like they've changed actors. Like Tommy Jarvis himself.
Tommy Jarvis, how many different people?
Right. To three different people, 3 different actors. So it's like, well, if they bitch about that, it's like Tommy Jarvis, John Shepard, Tom Matthews. Like, do you have a problem with that? Then no, you should have a problem with any actors being
Corey
changed
Feldman.
to somebody else.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, going back to picky fanboy motherfuckers.
My favorite.
You'll never forget that.
No. You originally were anticipating a certain amount of backlash from the fan crowd when you put this out. Did you ever really get much backlash other than complaints over the final girl assembly at the end?
No, not really. I'm trying to think, but there was never really any backlash. And if there was, I was just on a podcast today, actually, recently, before.
Cool.
Saying like, I definitely don't mind negative comments and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, it's all subjective, and if you didn't like the acting or what happens at the end or what Jason does in the movie or the kills or whatever, that's totally fine on you. So any negative comments, I was like, cool, bring them on with all, with all the positive. But there was no backlash with.
I've only heard positive things.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
great. You satisfied the fan base.
I would still say, like, in the last 2 years that it's been out, it's still like 90% positive. Like, if you look at all the YouTube comments, like, there's really nothing, like, there might be 10 negative comments and like hundreds of positive feedback.
Right.
One of which is my favorite one, which is not bad, which isn't a negative comment, but it's like not bad, but it was disappointing to see Jason defeated by a band of lesbians.
Ooh.
And I'm
No
just
misogyny there.
I'm like, did they reveal their sexual preference at the end? Did I miss?
I don't think they did.
I
don't think
feel
they
like
did.
it was. No, there was no sister. There was no sister.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing.
I mean, no. I mean,
there wasn't.
Some of them look kind of angry, but I mean that has nothing to do with it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm angry.
it's like, do you think they're man-hating by taking down a guy who's killed hundreds of people? Is that
No, what he's saying is, oh, Jason can't be killed by a girl. That's what it was. It's just, but he can't say that, so he's got to make it more
ridiculous
derogatory.
because almost every Friday the 13th movie he's taken down
yes,
most of the time by.
Well, that means clearly they're lesbians, right?
They got to be lesbians.
Yeah.
So I
Because they're not
immediately,
having sex in the woods, which means
I immediately like
the other way.
screenshot that comment, which I thought was hilarious. And
yeah, I'd love to make that a meme.
Yeah, I sent it.
Please
to,
send me that screenshot.
I sent it to a few of the husbands of those
of those lesbians that
of
took
those
down.
lesbians that were at the end.
Let me tell you,
it was hilarious. I don't think any of them are. I mean, it's 12 women. I don't.
who the fuck cares? Like, it's like,
Yeah,
what would make somebody even?
I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know.
I've noticed there's it's not even a subtle misogyny. Sometimes, the comment section are really scary places to be.
Another favorite thing is the people that are like on Jason's side.
Mhm.
Like I got comments where just like, that's not fair. It's like fair.
Yeah.
What? Because
All's
they
fair
were
in
like
loving Jason.
they were a
He's a
couple
murderer.
had a Jason and they like kind of got him in a circle and
He just started chopping pieces off of them. What are you gonna do?
It's not fair that like destroying
It didn't work.
families and killing people like for 40 years,
Yeah. If
So
I were going to make a plan,
It's just
to
ridiculous.
dispatch
Bust them
one
in a
of
million
these
pieces, and see what
unstoppable
happens.
killers, that would be the plan. I mean, get a bunch of people together, dismember them, and separate the pieces.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a comment today. The guy said he'll appreciate this if he's watching. He said Jason never would have missed the guy at the tree, like how he the machete hits the tree and scares the guy.
Cat and mouse scene.
The main kid. Cat and mouse. That's actually that's what I responded with.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, he wouldn't miss, but he's kind of messing with this
fucking
kid.
with him.
Yeah, he wants to scare him more and play a little cat and mouse because
He doesn't get a lot of fun in his
he doesn't.
life, all right?
He doesn't think Robbie's going to get away. Yeah. He's going to get him when it's up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. Jason didn't know about the people out there. Everybody else.
A pack of angry lesbians.
The pack of angry lesbians that are going to get him.
But so anybody watching this who hasn't watched Victim No More, first of all, what's wrong with you? Secondly, get on that right away and like it, share it,
we'll post
subscribe to the 3PD Films YouTube channel. Probably going to put a link in the description.
Thank you. There's fun videos in there. Even if you don't like the movie, you'll watch videos of the me and the Final Girls at like Monster Mania VIP parties, like partying.
Or the Night of the Creeps reunion.
Yes,
that
I
was
threw
cool.
a bunch of Night of the Creeps stuff in there.
Yeah.
So
me and Jill hanging out in front of the Amityville Horror House in Long
you're
Island.
like, is this real life? I don't
Great. Okay. Well, I like.
Well, she was fantastic in this.
Yeah, she was great.
She is awesome. She is returning.
She looks beautiful.
That was my question. Will she be returning?
She will be returning in the sequel. And so will Catherine Mary Stewart. Obviously, you both have seen the trailer for this, I think, right? Abby, did you see the trailer? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably put the trailer in here somewhere.
Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. Then later, when it gets dark, we go home. Just a perfect day. Feed animals in the zoo. A movie too, then home. Oh, such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on. Just a perfect day. Problems all left alone.
We've all lost friends, family members, loved ones to Jason Voorhees and killers like him. We've had to face life with the belief that things will get better, that time heals all wounds. We can't erase these memories, but we can stop these monsters from harming others. This is not revenge. This is justice.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So they're both returning, and you'll kind of get an idea too of like how that relationship kind of works. And I'll spoil that. I don't mind. Basically, it's kind of like Jill is a professional therapist, and and even though with Robbie, there's the patient-client thing that kind of went out the window. If you watch the end credits, she's telling Megan where Robbie's going to be,
Where he is, yeah,
on Friday the 13th, that he's going to be at, so that tells all the women where to like go and keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
So basically, in that support group that Megan has, Jill is not a part of that support group because of her profession. So what Jill does that in her therapy with trauma clients, she almost like vets them out, like if they've had a similar trauma or backstory that can be like somebody that's dealt with a serial killer or some kind of monster out there, like Jason, and will kind of recommend them talking to Megan, and then that'll send them to Megan's group. So
I love it.
That's cool.
That is it. Hopefully that comes across in some of the dialogue. I haven't written that scene yet. So,
but
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
because
but you won't see them in the same place at the same time. So Megan and Jill,
they're the same person.
Megan and Cynthia.
Gotcha.
So
that's awesome. So you had mentioned when you made Victim No More that you learned a lot, and that you had underestimated what all was going to go into it and how much it was going to cost to get it all done, and ended up almost tripling the budget of it in order to get the product that we got.
Doubled.
Okay. And you are estimating somewhere around 50-ish for this new production. Is that still your thought?
I would love for us to hit 50,000. Yes, that would be amazing. Starting the campaign, I am not going to have it that high. 50 is like the ultimate stretch goal.
Yes.
I am gonna put it as the same as the first one, which originally was 13,000, because I know with all the contributors of the first movie and all the contributors, people that want to contribute that I've met in the last 2 years, we're easily going to pass 13,000 and keep the campaign in demand after 60 days, because you only have 60 days to like raise your goal.
Amount, yeah.
Right.
So the idea is like we got to get past 13,000 and then go for 20, go for 30, go for 40, and then hopefully if we can get 50,000, that'll be.
That's when you got to bring in the big guns like I don't know, nude skydiving or something.
And
like
Mark
Perks.
Singer, right?
Something.
So, Mark Singer with side butt,
Side button for the win.
Have you thought about what type of perks you might put in this thing in order to invite people to contribute to the film?
Yes, I've written all out. Actually, after we're done, I'm going to like type up all the perks.
Okay.
I'm working on that. There'll be some like, on-screen used weapons that you can get. That's a fun perk. There'll only be like, I think 3 of those. Because some of the weapons I want to keep for myself.
Sure.
But there'll be some fun ones.
I love the idea of just getting stuff because I need more stuff. Everybody needs more stuff.
You need more stuff. I'll think about your tank top idea.
I'm just saying, anybody has a tank top, I'll buy it. I don't wear anything with sleeves ever. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in Florida now too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even when I was in New Jersey, it wasn't often. But all right. Well, we talked about comfort movies before, and I mentioned this being one of my comfort. What's your favorite comfort movie? Like, not necessarily your favorite movie, but your favorite comfort movie.
Well, before we get to that, well, I guess I could just easily tell you that. Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Complete comfort movie. Night of the Creeps. Absolutely. I watch that movie every day.
That'll be the one we can do.
Really, most Star Wars movies. I would say episodes 1 through 6, I could just pop on and just enjoy the hell out of them.
Even 4, huh? Well, 1. Well,
4 is the
Phantom Menace I'm talking about.
Not
the New Hope, a Phantom Menace.
No. I will.
You'll defend it?
Yes, I will defend Phantom Menace to the end, especially re-seeing it this past May for the 25th anniversary. I've always liked it. I don't know. I could defend it. I could defend it. I could defend the first 10 minutes of that movie like nobody's business, if people aren't willing to like say, cut me off and say, shut up, the movie sucks and Jar Jar's annoying. So, but I will defend the movie as, it made me feel like a 7-year-old kid enjoying fantasy.
You got the nostalgia goggles on. I love it.
I have the nostalgia goggles on. I was sitting next to a kid during that first screening of the movie and seeing that new generation enjoy the hell out of, the movie and it feeling like old-fashioned serialized kind of fantasy fairy tale storytelling. I was along for the ride, and for me it always almost plays like Wizard of Oz in a way. Like it's kind of like, all right, we're starting with the Jedi and they're picking up characters along the way for their journey. They meet Jar Jar, they meet Anakin, and it's kind of like, I'm like, Jar Jar is obviously the Scarecrow. Yeah, with no brains. But like, yeah, I was just along for the ride. I love it. And, Darth Maul is badass, so.
Oh, yeah.
And Palpatine just chess piece moving, creating wars and stuff. I love all that stuff. Anyway, enough about Star Wars. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, major comfort franchise. Besides the Friday the 13th franchise was my favorite horror franchise. Every one of those movies are comfort movies, even the ones I'm not crazy about.
Yes.
But Police Academy.
Police Academy.
Yeah. Mahoney.
Mahoney, we love you.
Love
I
it.
have a little Police Academy section right here. I could put on any one of those movies except for the last one.
I got you.
And got little Police Academy toys.
I love it. That's fantastic.
I recently had a marathon for the 40th anniversary, and I just smile. I just smile through like those first 6 movies, and I'm just in a happy place. I'm such in a comfortable, happy zone watching those movies. And yes, there was Police Academy references in Victim No More, if you could find them.
Mm-hmm.
The main kid in the first scene is wearing a Blue Oyster T-shirt.
I did see
that.
So
I did see that. I got to see Marion Ramsey do karaoke at
New Jersey Horror
Con.
Yeah, I was
a lot of
there.
fun.
I filmed a bunch of it on the 3PD Films YouTube channel. You could find Marion singing "What's Love Got to Do with It,"
and Michael
Winslow.
Who was our MC.
Me and Mary Ellen were watching that whole time.
She performed too, actually. I'm not sure if it was
She did.
that, but she usually
I
does.
had that. I had that for the longest time, like on my phone, and I think I sent it to her, and then I think I deleted it off my phone. But yeah, she did "Welcome to the Jungle." Yes.
Nice.
That's right. Okay.
But yeah, Police Academy references right up until the end of Victim No More, where Robbie finally says his last name, and it's not Jarvis, but it's Mahoney.
Yeah.
I didn't actually.
Strange. I thought that was
Put
a
it
reference
together?
to Jason Goes to Hell.
It could be if you want it to be.
Okay.
I mean, it's not confirmed. It's up to the viewer's imagination. If you want it to be
right here.
nice shot, Mahoney, in the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell, it can be.
Okay.
But it's also the name of a guy that's online that was helping support the movie. His name was Rob Mahoney. And
I've heard that name.
I have two, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, you've seen it on like some horror pages on Facebook.
I'm sure I have.
Like that. But in the end, my thoughts were that Trish Jarvis married Carrie Mahoney from Police Academy. And we got a little Police Academy Friday 13th crossover going on. And she's friends in real life. Kimberly Beck is friends with Steve Guttenberg. And a few months ago sent me a picture and a video of them talking.
That's adorable.
Or hanging out.
He's a super
really
nice
cool.
guy too.
Very nice. He's very cool.
Yeah.
So your campaign
Yes.
for Loose Ends starts September 13th, as I recall.
Yes,
And,
Friday the 13th.
We'll definitely help you promote that on
Easy
our
to remember because
respective
that's my
pages.
birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, so maybe I'll start that by contributing to your campaign.
Oh my God, you get birthday money? Please send me all your birthday money.
Yes, sir.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But
So
Abby,
that's
I
right.
forgot it. You wanted me to talk about Loose Ends.
Well, and what you can tell. I mean, I
Or I
would
can
just
tell you.
don't know what you can tell us without giving anything away. But if you can give us an idea of where we're going with it, that'd be amazing.
Well, it will pick up where we last left off from the first movie. So you'll see the aftermath of that. But it will be a Friday the 13th anthology film, meaning it'll have 4 short stories of the background of 4 of the Survivor Squad women and their connections to Jason or other characters from the Friday the 13th franchise.
I love that idea.
So
I
it'll
just
be.
want to let you know, I love that.
Thank you
To
so
me,
much.
When you have movies with like all these back characters, and I said this with, we'll just take Cabin in the Woods as an example.
Mhm.
I wanted on like the special edition DVD. I wanted you to be able to click on everything in that basement, and I wanted to hear the backstory of every one of those things. You know, same thing with 13 Ghosts. I was loving the thought that we would get some sort of episodic each episode is another ghost and
Yeah.
in like a mini series. And I love this idea.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to like just kind of not only delve into like where a couple of these women came from and what their trauma was in the past, but also kind of touch on like what happened to other characters from the Friday the 13th franchise, or like if they had family members that I can connect them to, or something like that. Like I thought it'd be fun. And being such a huge fan of the franchise, I like to see things kind of, make my own version of wrapping up a story that maybe was never wrapped up, or
a story you didn't even know you needed.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of that. And whatever doesn't get wrapped up in this second feature-length movie, it'll be wrapped up in the third and final chapter of part 3, Victim No. 3. And that'll be it for whatever I have to say about Friday the 13th. But believe me, with Friday the 13th, with Victim No. 3, I will throw in everything that I would find entertaining in a Friday the 13th movie, but also wrap up any loose ends, quote unquote, again. That I had, or that even like fans of the franchise might have. Some fans.
That's awesome. I love this idea.
Yeah. So I hopefully the rights and the issues and stuff like that are still. I mean, I want the rights to be resolved and there be new Friday the 13th content.
Once your stuff is done.
And a new show. Yeah, once my stuff is done. And then we could have a Crystal Lake TV show and new films and, for a whole new generation. And fine, that's fine. Cool. Yeah. But let me pump out these 2 movies. And then my ultimate goal is, I will move on to other things. And, you never know. The next thing might be a romantic comedy project, which will get like 3 million views all of a sudden. It's like, well,
yeah, exactly.
So
suddenly you're giving the fans what they want.
Yeah. Suddenly.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that. So last year on Friday the 13th, Ryan, Canadian boy Ryan, and I took the day off of work. We started at 7 a.m. and we watched every movie in the series, including the remake. We ended at I think it was, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was all day.
You didn't do this as episodes, though.
What's that?
You didn't do this as an episode because I didn't.
No, we didn't. We just did it because Ryan does it every year. And this was my first year being involved, probably my last year being involved. I enjoy them being on all day, but just saying that I am literally, we spent the entire day in bed. It was like, I had my little Craftmatic adjustable bed. I just had all my snacks and literally it just played from beginning to end. And I think I might've fallen asleep during the remake, but at that point I don't care as much.
Oh my God. Well,
because I got the full first time.
I would love it for one day if I could do that with you, Abby, and Clint, my 2 biggest crushes on,
wow. Thank you, sir.
So
I'm in. You put it that way.
We could all snuggle together with a blanket.
Be so good.
Abby in the middle, of course.
Of course.
And we could watch Friday the 13th movies, and
just
don't
touch
hold
your hand across her belly.
Don't touch Abby. Yeah, don't touch my belly.
I don't like my belly touched either. It's all good.
Sorry for anybody that's not understanding that joke. That was before we started recording.
Oh, that's right.
So
I forgot that's
talking about bellies and feet and things that we don't like.
Yeah. Those are the private conversations. What's that?
You wearing a Victim No. shirt?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a Victim No. shirt, but I have a screening shirt of the final chapter.
I have.
Awesome.
I don't know what I have. Evil brand.
Evil brand.
You
have a tank top on.
Always.
Right.
I'm telling you, you get tank tops made. You don't have Victim No More tank tops.
It's an evil tank
No,
top.
we don't. I'm not.
I know everyone says, "Oh, you could just cut the T-shirt," but I can't. I'm an idiot, and it just never fits right. I love a tank top.
I'll have Lindsay DeFranco, who's going to be she's the one that shot Jason in the head with the arrow.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She's going to be one of the main cast members for the sequel, and we'll see her backstory.
Yeah.
Nice.
But she is the costume designer, and she will. I'll get her to make you a tank top out of one of the shirts. So,
That would be
and I'll
amazing.
send
And
it to her.
honestly, I will promote the hell out of your stuff.
Oh my God, yes.
I
please.
love to advertise for my friends. I really do. It makes me so happy.
And I would love it if on the back it said, "Who's Tara Palladino?"
That is one of the shirts that I have in mind. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, but one of the shirts I wanted to get made eventually was a picture of Sean Jordan VHS-PS.
Yeah.
A picture of him dressed like Jason with his hands like this, and on the back or on the front saying
What
like
WWJD?
no. Say she's no Tara Palladino.
Nice.
I mean, she's no Tara Palladino.
You know, no Tara Palladino. And yes, that joke will continue into the next movies.
That's awesome.
That goes back to things that will be repeated. So
I love it.
Well, shit like that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bobby, I thank you so much for coming on here with us to talk about your projects, past, present, and future. I am going to put some links in the description of this video, to direct people to your website, to your YouTube channel. And later on, I hopefully will be able to include a link for your crowdfunder that, again, starts on September 13th.
Yeah, I'll post it on my page as well.
Yeah. I want to thank you again for showing up, Bob.
Thank you
Great
for
talking to
having
you,
me.
as always.
Yes.
And we had some connection issues there for a second. I was getting worried that we were going to lose you, but thankfully we did not. So I just want to say, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Abbe, Bob, and victim support group seeking justice everywhere, remember.
Smile, you son of a...